Under new business, it is item 11A to award contract for engineering consulting services. It is best management practice to request proposals every 3 to 5 years to ensure that the vendors are delivering competitive pricing and quality services. The current engineering contract has been in place since 2020. As a result, a request for proposal was electronically advertised on the Michigan Intergovernmental Trade Network starting September 20th. 44 engineering firms requested information. On October 10th, 2023, 3 proposals were received: AEW, HRC, and Spicer Group. Each consultant submitted a portfolio and a separate sealed pricing envelope. And interviews were held November 7th and 9th. All 3 were interviewed by the city treasurer, DPW foreman, fire chief, and water plant superintendent. Each company was scored first based on their interview, and after the interviews, the pricing envelopes were opened. Attached, we have the evaluation criteria and a list of interview questions, as well as a copy of each proposal. The process helps ensure selection of the best qualified, not necessarily the cheapest consultant. After careful consideration, the city administration is recommending award to Hubble, Roth, and Clark. Highlights include highest interview score, has been in business over 100 years, provides monthly project reports, impressive quality control process, can provide Algonac project information digitally, does not charge for mileage or drive time, long-term relationship with comparable communities, some for over 55 years, extensive experience with water and treatment sewer facilities, broad experience with the Army Corps of Engineers, NOAA, NPDES, EPA, and FEMA. HRC is the current engineer and has a long history with the city of Algonac, having first worked here in 1936 when Algonac was still a village. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve consulting agreement for engineering services between the city of Algonac and Hubble, Roth, and Clark Incorporated for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026, with an option to extend the term and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement on behalf of the city.
Second.
Gentlemen, would you like to? Questions, council? Mr. Memons?
My first question is, you tell me why we should pick you and not another company. Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. Well, like Eddie, I've been in the company a long time, over 20 years. I really feel that, first and foremost, we're a family company, so we're a company that is privately held. We're not owned by some big publicly traded company. We care about employees, so the fact we have wonderful employees, we have over 300 people, and the fact we love what we do. So we love getting in the dirt, we love designing roads and bridges and sewer systems. We find that exciting. We love interacting with the public, helping them understand. You know, we've got great inspectors, so there's a road project and you got angry citizens. Why is the road being torn up? Why am I inconvenienced? We care about those people. We care about your residents, your citizens. We're all Michigan residents, and I feel like we're one of the greatest engineering companies in Michigan, and we're very competitive. If you look at our rates, we provide a good value for the city. And I think the other thing over 3 years that Denise could speak of is we don't come to Denise or the city with extras. We give you a price and we stick to that price. We're not saying, hey, by the way, we didn't think about this and we need an extra 5 or 10K. If you've seen we don't ask for extras, and that's my quick take. If Eddie, he also has a wealth of experience here, so.
I think Roland covered it great. Basically also just that we're very multidisciplinary, as you know. We have all different types of discipline as far as engineering, field observation, survey, GIS. We basically provided all these services to all our clients, and we feel that basically any type of project that we can get, we have the resources within our company, as Roland said. So many people have worked our company for decades. I've been there 25 plus years now as it is, and we've had people there 30, 40 years, and just a wealth of knowledge and resources. And I believe that no matter what project we've come up with, or have dealt with, we've always had somebody in the office that has had some experience with that, and we'll be able to troubleshoot and take care of whatever we need to.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Since you guys are here and they asked, the golf water main project, did you guys put new sewers in there? Did you guys blow them out, or what's
That
Since
was-
she's here and she asked.
Sure, we basically just televise and clean the sewers. So
On Gulfview with
On
water
the
main
Gulf, right.
replacement?
Right.
Cleaned and televised? Okay, thanks. And I do have one question. When I was going through the current projects underway that we got going right now, I'm curious, the Gulfview Mill Street Proposal Development Assistance. How are you guys involved with that, considering they're a private developer?
As the engineers for the city, we were asked to basically look at the initial preliminary plans from the applicant's engineer, the developer's engineer, and then they basically put the preliminary plan together and the permit applications, and we just look at the permit applications and submit them to Eagle on behalf of the city and the developer. So that's all we've been involved with as far as, again, it's not our design, not our plans, we're
Right.
just basically on behalf of the city. submit
And this
that.
was for the Eagle
Correct.
permit?
Correct.
To get, cause they were about to expire. And one last. Does your firm do a lot of grant writing for other municipalities, or no?
Yeah, we've done a lot of grant work over the years, as far as grant and loans through the Michigan State Revolving Fund, USDA. We're constantly looking for new grant opportunities, and we've helped many communities over the years get grants and loans, yeah.
And you help with them writing the actual grant?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Project plan, the grant, the applications, all the letters that go with it. There's a lot of red tape, if you will, that goes into putting
I'm
this
sure.
application.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't just give the money willy-nilly, they make the cities or townships, communities, cross their T's, dot their I's, and then develop a very robust plan. So there's strings attached to that free monies, and often you have to spend some money up front with no guarantee you will get that free money, so.
Right, right. That I know.
One thing from earlier question about the sewers on Gulfview.
Yes.
So there were a couple that they actually grouted, again, just at the joints on the inside, but there wasn't any replacement of it, just
Okay.
grouting. So, because once they televised and cleaned, and they saw some wider joints, then you could just grout those, which is pretty standard practice for sewer rehab, trenchless work, as they call it.
I appreciate that, since she brought it in, thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, so we give you another 3-year contract, what does that look like for how you interact with us? What do you plan on getting accomplished?
Well, first and foremost, continue to be Eddie and I who are, he'll be the main contact, and I'll be support, so this isn't some sort of bait switch where we're obviously not very smooth. So we're not the salesmen, we're the people who will do the work, so there's gonna be the consistency of Eddie and I continuing that on. There is some excitement about a possible, USDA rural community grant that could be used to improve your sanitary sewer system, so we had just a meeting on it yesterday, so hopefully we can get some traction and help the city get some funding. And again, we're here to help the city in any way we can, so as road projects come up, as sewer projects come up, as water main replacement projects need to be completed, we're here to help scope those, help properly estimate those, and then see those through construction. And the other big thing is we're kind of the buffer we try to be the buffer between the city and the contractor, so when you have a bad contractor like Robbins, and I hate to bring up our first project, but it was a struggle, we try to be the human shield and protect the city from a lot of that, and then protect the city's interests, so, yeah, I think more of the same, looking forward to, future projects to improve city infrastructure.
I appreciate you guys coming out and letting us grill you a little bit, because sometimes, people put in contracts, you never even see their face, so I thank you for letting me give you a hard time.
Yeah, of course.
We do actually have a couple projects that will be starting soon or over the winter. We have a sewer rehab program, if you recall, that was awarded a couple months back. Just got the contract booked actually today, but they have to update their bonds and insurance, so everything was correct, the contractor inliner, but we'll get that squared away soon. We'll have our pre-construction meeting, and then, you can do that in the winter as long as it's not too cold. So that is one project that will be taking place over the winter at some point here. And then actually next week, we are scheduling a GIS overview meeting. with, in particular, Josh, your water superintendent, was very interested in the GIS aspect, so, we're bringing in Denise and Joe Grenier and Josh. Our GIS group is gonna come out and we're basically gonna show all the additional services that we can provide in the GIS, platform. You know, we've obviously already done, with your SAW grant, we've established the GIS network for you, but there's so much more that you can do, and basically, Josh especially is really interested in that, which I think is great. So basically, we're gonna show them a lot of the things that we have already provided for other clients that we're also gonna be providing for City of Algonac.
And GIS is a data collection network that produces information, so you start to see how old your pipes are, when they were last cleaned, when your manholes were inspected, so it's creating a record of all of your infrastructure. That's what the GIS network is.
I have a question. One more thing. And because you guys did the SAW grant, so you know what the conditions are, and they're not so much so good. Since we did this last time and you guys were first contracted, how many years ago? That situation is more in our face now than it was before, given the results of the SAW grant. Is that gonna be more of an emphasis with you guys now?
Yeah, I think it would be. Now, you have an aged system that is gonna need some fairly significant funding, and this rural community grant that we met with yesterday, that is an opportunity that you could either get a grant or a loan. You need a pretty large downlay of money to improve a system that is 70, 80 years old and hasn't had a lot of maintenance, so you need funding, right? And you can't just write a check. You have limited funds. Everybody thinks government has this big bank full of millions of dollars, and why don't you just spend, you've got this surplus of money. Well, we all know that that's not true, so the idea is finding opportunities like grants and loans, and we would definitely be excited to assist with that.
Thank you.
I have a comment, and that is that, the city manager and various department heads met with, the engineers, and looking at the proposals, they're all quite extensive. They all look good in proposals, and, our staff, came up with this recommendation, and I appreciate the recommendation. It's plenty of work that goes through it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I respect the fact that the staff was so involved in this picking also.
And I will have to put Denise on a little bit of a pedestal. I appreciate that she didn't participate in so she let her staff do that, and that I think is, speaks to the interview itself, and that speaks to the trust in her staff, so.
I would definitely agree that I'm glad, if you look at the scoring system and everything, it was definitely done very professionally and very independently, so.
On the up and up, as
Yeah.
everybody likes, they like
Yep.
transparency, and yeah.
So thank you. Anybody, any other further discussion?
I appreciate you coming out to
Of course.